स्वामिन्नमस्ते नतलोकबन्धो कारुण्यसिन्धो पतितं भवाब्धौ मामुद्धरात्मीय कटाक्षदृष्ट्या ऋज्व्यातिकारुण्य सुधाभिवृष्ट्या स्वामिन्नमस्ते 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 स्वामिन्नमस्ते। यत्कीर्तनं यत्स्मरणं यदीक्षणं यद्वन्दनं यत्श्रवणं यदर्हणं लोकस्य सद्यो विधुनोति कल्मषं तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः। विचक्षणा यच्चरणोपसादनात् संगं व्युदस्यो भयतो अन्तरात्मनः विन्दन्ति हि ब्रह्मगतिं गतक्लमाः तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः। तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः। तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः। I prostrate at the holy lotus feet of my Guru, Swami Bhumananda Tirtha Ji, and seek his blessings so that whatever I want to say, I can say it well. I prostrate at the holy lotus feet of Sri Krishna, about whom I will be talking. May his grace be on me so that I can talk about him with devotion. And I prostrate at the holy lotus feet of every one of you, the devotees who have come here and assembled here day after day, listening to the excellences of the Holy Lord, the Supreme Lord. Let us all go to the Ganges bank where Parikshit is sitting in Prayopavesha. His days are numbered. He has only 7 days more to live. He, then emperor, the noble, virtuous king, who had everything in life, he has left everything now. He has renounced everything. His palace, his kingdom, his queens, his children, his treasury, his army, and everything. And he has understood that though he thought that he was a great devotee of Mahavishnu, but he was not. His mind was still attached to all these things, and that is why he had sudden anger and he was cursed that he will be dying on the 7th day by a snake bite. So he took to Prayopavesha. We'll go to that scene where he is sitting at the feet of Shukadev and with tears in his eyes, with folded hands, he is listening to him. He asked Shukadeva, please tell me, what has to be heard? What has to be chanted? What am I supposed to do? What is my duty? What I am supposed to remember? What should I worship? A man whose death is imminent, what he should do. And please tell me also what I should not do. So many people had encircled him. From far and near people had come. We also were listening to him. Shukadeva's words, after so many years, every day in this Tattva Samiksha, the narrations are being done by one speaker after another, and we are hearing. These are not stories. These are something carrying the message how devotion can be grown, because Parikshit understood that to transcend the worldly afflictions, to transcend the sorrows and joys of life, one must have one-pointed devotion to the Supreme Lord. That was the highest goal of this human life. So he is listening, story after story. But my dear souls, those are not stories. Today we'll be listening and going to tell you about Bhakta Prahlada. The little boy, 7-year-old boy, how much reliance he had on the Lord, what all qualities he had. I think all of us know the story of Prahlada. We know it as he was a great bhakta. His father was an asura, and his father had hatred for Mahavishnu, and ultimately he was killed by Narasimha Avatara. Though Prahlada was put to many difficulties by his father, he tried to kill him in many ways, but he survived because Mahavishnu protected him. We know the story as this. But my dear souls, it is not so. We must know who this Prahlada was, why he became a true devotee, what was his qualities, what were his characteristics, and what he thought about this life itself. So, Prahlada's father Hiranyakashipu, he wanted to be invincible. He wanted never to die. He wanted to become the emperor of the world. So he went and did severe austerity in penance and tapasya. His tapasya was so severe that it seemed that the planets and stars would fall, the mountains and earth were shivering and trembling, every direction was aglow with fire, and the whole world, in fact the three worlds, the world was scorched by his tapasya. So the Devas went to Brahma, and Brahma along with all the rishis approached Hiranyakashipu, who was doing severe austerities in the Mandara mountains. His half body was eaten away by ants, and anthill had grown there, and on that anthill grass had grown. Seeing him, Brahma was surprised. He told Hiranyakashipu, I appreciate your penance, I appreciate your tapasya, I am very pleased, so ask a boon from me. Hiranyakashipu told him. By that time Brahma had sprinkled water, and Hiranyakashipu emerged as a youthful form and with full vigor and power. He said, O my Lord, if you are pleased to give me a boon, then give me a boon that nobody can kill me. I should not be killed outside or inside, not in the sky, not on the earth, not in day, not in night, not by any weapon, not by man or animal. I should be the emperor of this world. Brahma said, okay, go ahead, I give you this boon. So Hiranyakashipu, having this boon, where he thought he will never be killed by anybody, he conquered the three worlds. He was tyrannical, he was oppressive, and everybody was really tortured by his cruelty. He said that He had great hatred for Vishnu, Mahavishnu, because Mahavishnu had killed his brother. So he said, I will kill this Vishnu. I am so powerful now, Vishnu can never kill me. So I will kill Mahavishnu. Now all the devas, they became very frightened. And then they went to Mahavishnu and said, this is the situation. We are so oppressed. We are always frightened that he will come and conquer us. So please do something. Mahavishnu said, I know this and I am going to kill him. And his own son Prahlada will be the cause of his death. Now, he had 4 sons. Hiranyakashipu had 4 sons. Out of that, Prahlada was one. And he was a great devotee of Mahavishnu. When he was in his mother's womb, his mother, Hiranyakashipu's wife, Kayadhu, was staying in Narada's ashram. There, Narada Muni, he used to tell about Mahavishnu. He was to tell about many things about God, about liberation to this lady. And Prahlada from the mother's womb used to hear. Hearing and hearing about the Lord excellences from Narada Rishi, he developed so much of love for this Mahavishnu. And when he was born, from the very beginning, he was virtuous and noble. He had many qualities. And you know what these qualities were? Brahmanyaha, Sheela Sampannaha, Satyasandho Jitendriyaha, Atmavat Sarvabhutanam, Ekapriya Suhrittamaha, Dasavat Sannataryangrihi, Pitrivad Dina Vatsalaha, Bhatrivat Sadrishe Snigdho, Gururishwara Bhavanaha, Vidyartha Rupa Janmadhyo, Manastambha Vivarjitaha. I have chanted some slokas. This is in this Prahlada story. I don't think most of us read about this, or we remember this, or we try to understand this. My dear devotees, when we read these scriptures, when we read these accounts, when we read the excellences of the Lord, we must identify ourselves with the characters. Now we should all be Prahlada. We should understand what are the characteristics of this little boy and why he was a devotee, why he was a true devotee. We all think we are devotees. We all think we are devotees because we go to temples. We come to this Bhagavata Tattva Samiksha Satram year after year. We are ecstatic when the Nama Sankirtana goes on. We dance for hours. But do we have the characteristics and the qualities of the devotees whom the Lord likes, whom the Lord is pleased with? Every chapter, every skanda, every story, the Lord says, my devotees should be like this. That devotee who has these qualities, I am liking them. They are dear to me. I love them. So, along with the devotion and ecstatic devotion that we have, we must try to cultivate the qualities of the devotees when we read these accounts. What are these? How was he? Brahmanyaha, he was devoted to the holy people. Sheela Sampannaha, he was exemplary in conduct. When we read this, we must assess ourselves. We must try to analyze ourselves. Do we have these qualities? Are we always exemplary in our conduct? Do we not get annoyed, irritated, depressed, hateful? We dislike people? We talk rudely to people? We are not exemplary. Then what is to be done to become exemplary in our nature, in our conduct? Satyasandhaha, Jitendriyaha. Satyasandhaha is truthfulness. Jitendriyaha, we should be master of our senses. Atmavat sarvabhutanam, as oneself is dear to oneself, similarly, everybody should be dear to us. Dear to oneself. As one likes oneself, one doesn't want anything wrong to be done by others to oneself. Similarly, we should love everyone. We should not do any wrong to anybody else. We should not hurt people. Eka priya surhittamaha. And everybody used to find a close friend in him. Everybody would think, oh, Prahlada likes me very much. I am loved by Prahlada. So we should have that quality also. Dasavat sannatarghihi. And he attended to the wise and gurus as a servant. He was so humble. Humility was his character. He used to worship the wise people and the gurus. Pitrivat deenavatsalaha. He was very, very loving to the poor and afflicted. It was not that those who were only rich, he was a prince. His father was an emperor. It's not that he was loving to only the rich people or those who came and did stuti for him. He was very loving to the poor and afflicted. Are we so? Generally, those who are around us, those who love us, those who do some sacrifice for us, we love them. What about the unknown poor people? Do our mind also go out to them in love? Do we do anything for them? So we should have that quality also. Bhatrivat sadrishe snigdhaha. And he was like a brother to all who was equal to him. Snigdhaha. He was serene and calm. Guru Ishvara Bhavanaha. He viewed the teachers as God himself. Those who used to teach him, he used to feel they are God. But in spite of having all these virtues and qualities, he never was proud and never was egoistic. He had learning, he had wealth, he had beauty, he had a noble birth, but he was never proud. He was an asura, but he did not have the qualities of asura. His father was a cruel asura. Asura means those who have cruel tendencies, evil tendencies, always trying to give trouble to people, always trying to oppress people. He was the asura Hiranyakashipu's son, but he was not like that. He was soft and humble. He was loving to everybody. And in any difficulty, he was unmoved. He had no desire for any attainment or possession. I think these two qualities at least we must have. Remaining unmoved in every difficulty and not wanting anything which is not needed. So, what was Prahlada like then? He was such. Right from birth he had such good qualities. It is as if his mind used to go naturally towards Vasudeva. Naturally he would be thinking of the Supreme Lord, Sri Hari. And doing this, while he was seated, while he roamed about, while he was taking food, while he was sleeping, while he was drinking something, or while he was talking, he felt Govinda Parirambhitaha. He felt as if he is embraced by the Lord. Govinda Parirambhitaha. Do you understand, my dear devotees, what depth this word has? I remember when I heard this first time from my Guru, while he was giving a lecture on Prahlada, this word, Govinda Parirambhitaha, that is an embrace of the Lord. That embrace, if we can experience it, it takes away all sorrow, all fear from our hearts, from our minds. We human beings, we are always fearful. We are always having tension, always having worry. We are always fearful that what we want we will not get, and what we have got we will lose it. These are the fears. The whole world, our everyday life, every moment, although we are getting little happiness, but mostly it is fear and anxiety and worry. If we think we are protected by the Lord, we are in His bosom, He is embracing us and telling us, there is no fear. Hold my hand, I will protect you. Then there is freedom, there is liberation, freedom from fear, and that is what we want. We all want to be happy and contented, and we all want to be delighted. So, this boy was sent for learning. He was sent to Shanda and Amarka, the two sons of Shukracharya, their guru, Asura's guru, and he was studying. After some days, Hiranyakashipu called this little boy, put him on his lap, and very tenderly he asked, my dear boy, what have you learned? What do you consider to be true and good? He said, my father, the Lord of the Asuras, my dear father, I have understood that people get identified wrongly and mistakenly with this body, thinking this body is the soul. And because of that, one constantly is in the cycle of happiness and sorrow. This house, he thinks, is everything. He thinks his life, his wife, the house, wealth, property, children, and all that belongs to him, and he feels these are mine, these are everything, and one will get happiness from that. He does get happiness from these things, but all those happiness is transitory. So remaining in the house, what is the use? The house is like a blind well. So I feel that hitvatmapatam grihamandhakupam vanam gato yad harimashrayeta. Hitvatmapatam grihamandhakupam vanam gato yad harimashrayeta. He says, I think it is better, this is what I have learned and have understood, is we must leave the house, which is like a well, a dark well and a blind well. We should leave this and go to the forest or in solitude, considering Sri Hari to be all in all. Considering Sri Hari to be our shelter and refuge. Ashrayeta, Harim Ashrayeta. What is this word called Ashraya? To rely on Him completely, absolutely, to the exclusion of everything else. We do not rely on God. We rely on our bank balance. We rely on our position. We rely on our children. We rely on the possessions and the wealth and the houses and property that we have. This is what we rely upon. How many of us feel that I want nothing? If I can rely on God alone, I want nothing, because I have understood all that I rely upon is transitory, will not remain at all as I want. The house may go, the wife may die, children may go astray, everything may be lost, or I may have disease. On what do I rely upon? What is my security? God alone is security. God alone is the Ashraya. So Prahlada says, Vanam gato yad harim ashrayeta. Hiranyakashipu was very, very surprised. What is this little boy talking about Sri Hari? My child, I hate Sri Hari like anything. I have taken a vow that I will kill Sri Hari with my trident. I will kill him at the neck and the abundant blood which will flow, with that I will do ablution for my brother who was killed by Sri Hari. And what is this? My son. He is talking about Sri Hari, but still he felt, little boy, maybe somebody has told him something, that is why he is talking like this. So, but the teachers, Shanda and Amarka, they came and said, little boy, where from are you talking this? Who has told you all these things? You are a thorn in the sandalwood forest of the Asuras. See, this will not do. Come, we will teach you again dharma, artha and kama. So they tried to teach with attention. To teach whom? This little boy, 7-year-old boy, who is full of Lord Vishnu, who is Govinda Parirambhitaha. After some days again, the father Hiranyakashipu calls Prahlada, puts him on the lap and says, my dear boy, some days have passed. What have you learned now? Prahlada says, my father, I have learned this. He says delightfully what he has learned and what he feels is the best education. He says, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoh Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam Iti Pumsarpita Vishnahu Bhaktischen Navalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavatyadha Tanmanye Dhitamuttamam Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnoh Smaranam Padasevanam. I think we should also have these feelings. You know, if we can sing these, what this Bhagavata says, in each skandha, each chapter, it says, one must hear about him. One must sing about him. One must think about his excellences. And in doing so, sometimes the eyes will get filled. Horripilation in the body will be there. And one will feel the presence of the Lord inside the heart. When I chant these, I tremble. Because Archanam, Shravanam, we are so lucky. We are so fortunate. We have got so many texts. We have got so many ways to listen to these excellences, his exploits, his glories, his sports. But one must have the heart. One must listen. Shravanam means to listen. One must listen with that kind of heart, completely absorbed in him, completely thinking about him, to the exclusion of everything. Not the house, not the children, not the property, not the wealth, not of any possession. He alone is. When we hear, this Shravanam should be that. This Shravanam should completely engulf us. Kirtanam, sing about him, sing about him. Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namo Namaha. Think about him, prostrate at his feet. Smaranam, remember him. Remember him. When you get up in the morning, right from the morning when we get up, we can think about him. Do we think? We don't think. When we get up in the morning, we start thinking, today the day is this. We get sometimes late, so we will grumble, we will get hurried, we will start rushing with all our chores, and we will grumble about many things, many people. We don't think about him at all. We don't think that he is the one who has given us everything. This breath, these life forces, the blood flow, the sky, the air, all that we are enjoying, all that we are proud of, all that we are dealing with, he has given. He has given us. But how many of us remember him when we get up in the morning? We don't. Throughout the day also, very rarely we'll remember him, except for maybe a little namesake worship that we do in the morning, light a lamp, say some stutis, offer some water or some sweet to the Lord, give a garland or maybe offer some flowers, and then go to the daily work. We forget him after that. To come back to remember him only after one day. This is what we do. But he is saying, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam. We should serve him, worship him. How can we serve him? We can do puja with whole mind and heart. And we can do puja by doing every work that he has given him with delight and joy, with efficiency and perfection. That is also his worship. Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. And we should do pranam to him. Not only pranam to him, we should see him everywhere in everything, because he is all pervading. He is one without a second. He is everywhere in everything, in the living beings and the non-living beings. And as we would go and do pranam to an image or an idol, we should be doing pranam to everybody. The person whom we like, the person whom we do not like, a person who favors me, a person who disfavors me, everybody, we should find Vishnu in that person. Then that is Bandhanam. Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. And we should be friendly to everybody, and we should not consider anything that we possess as mine. That I-ness and mine-ness is the greatest enemy of mankind. So we should surrender everything mentally. What does this surrender mean actually? Whatever we have, we say, I have surrendered. Surrender means not having any possessiveness about it. If we have to enjoy something, some material object we do, if it goes, it goes. Completely that kind of a feeling, that not being dependent on anything. If at all we have to be dependent on anything, that is on God. We feel our all happiness depends on objects, but poor we do not understand that we think our happiness will come maybe from a house, maybe from some name and fame, maybe from a position, maybe from the sun. We think our happiness will come from objective world. It doesn't. It comes. But all those are transitory. It will not remain. Even if those remain, you will not remain. You will get disease. You will get old. You will not be able to enjoy anything. But who will remain always? God will remain. So our whole dependence should be on God. He says, Oh Father, this is what I have learned. This is the 9 aspects of bhakti. And if everybody gets trained in this bhakti, one will be able to develop one-pointed devotion to the Lord. Hiranyakashipu was surprised, was enraged. His lips started quivering. He looked at the teachers, and the teachers started trembling because they knew that Hiranyakashipu felt that the teachers have taught him this. They said with folded hands that, O king, we have not taught him, nor that somebody else has come and taught him. It is his natural tendency, O king. He thinks about Lord Vishnu like this. Then Hiranyakashipu asked him, how did you get this perverse outlook? Where from did you get this? Then Prahlada says, Matirna Krishne Paratasvato Va Mithobhipadyeta Grihavratanam Adanta Gobhir Vishatam Tamisram Punah Punascharvita Charvananam Matirna Krishne Paratah Svato Va मिथोऽभिपद्येत गृहव्रतानाम् अदान्तगोभिर्विशतातमिस्रम् पुनः पुनश्चर्वितचर्वणानाम्. He said, men, they mistakenly identify with the body. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. So, he says, by identifying mistakenly with the body, thinking that the soul is nothing but the body, these people, mostly the human beings, they go through the cycle of sorrow and suffering, just like chewing the cud. Punah punas charvita charvinana. They do not have any control over the senses, and they become absolutely attached to their house, to their cattle, to name, to fame, to the possessions, to wealth and everything. So, they do not develop any devotional inclination. Even if they try themselves, or even if they are taught by somebody, they do not develop devotion in their mind. Because they are so narrow-minded, they are so constricted. They feel that whole happiness comes from the material possessions that they have. They know nothing about anything else. And that is why their mind remains away from Krishna, Lord Hari. Naisham matim matistavadurukramaghrim sprishatyanarthapagamo yadarthaha mahiyasam padarajobhishekam nishkinchananam navrinitayavat. Naisham matistavadurukramaghrim sprishatyanarthapagamo yadarthaha mahiyasam padarajobhishekam nishkinchananam navrinitayavat. He says, Prahlada, don't forget who is telling whom? Prahlada is telling to his father, who is the cruel king, who has all power. Fearlessly he is talking about Lord Hari when he knows very well Hiranyakashipu does not want to hear about Lord Hari. He says, how will then, father, people will have devotion in their mind? They will not have unless they bathe their head in the food dust of great people, the wise people, the true devotees. And the true devotees who do not possess anything, they have only thing in possession is love for Krishna, love for Hari. Their only possession, only treasure is their devotion. They only want to serve the Lord. Only when somebody goes and associates themselves with such people, be with them, learn from them, have devotion from them, then slowly the mind starts thinking of devotion, one-pointed devotion. Because when they are in such association, what happens? They also start understanding everything in this life is transitory. Only thing which is eternal is God Himself. So their mind turns slowly away from the worldly allurements and turns toward God. Hiranyakashipu became very, very angry. He said this boy should be killed. He is a traitor to the family. He should be killed. So many things were tried. Many ways to kill this son. He was pierced with tridents. He was trampled by elephants. He was bitten by serpents. He was rolled along the mountainside. He was starved, imprisoned, poisoned, exposed to severe inclement weather. But nothing could kill Prahlada. The Lord protected him. He was Govinda Parirambhitaha. Nobody could kill. And the Asura, the Emperor Asura, Hiranyakashipu, he was looking fearlessly and thinking, what is this? This boy is completely fearless and he has not got killed. So is he going to be the cause of my death? So Shanda and Amarka said, don't kill him now. Our father, Shukracharya, has gone somewhere. After he comes back, we will decide about this boy. Till that time, we'll again try to teach him good things, which will not be on Mahavishnu. So Shanda and Amarka tried to teach him again. When Shanda and Amarka, they used to go for other chores or call of nature, what Prahlada would do, he would call all the classmates and say, come. These teachers are not teaching us well. They are only teaching us dharma, artha and kama. They are not telling us about moksha. What the highest goal of human life is to grow devotion for Lord Hari. And that devotion should be started and practiced right from childhood. Kaumara acharet prajño dharman bhagavataniha durlabham manusham janma tadapyadhruvamarthadam. He said, right from childhood, we should start following the Bhagavata disciplines. That is, the way of life of true devotees. How are they? What are their characteristics? What are their lakshanas? What are their qualities? What do they say? What do they think? And what they practice. So we should start from the very beginning. Oh, my dear friends, come. I will tell you. You know why we should start so early? Because this life itself is rare. And to have a human birth is all the more rare. So, in this life itself, we must practice all this Bhagavata Dharma. He says, why we should practice this? My dear friends, we should completely surrender at the feet of Lord Hari, because He is the dearest of the dear. He is the soul. He is the master. He is the friend. He is Priyaha, Atmeshwaraha, He is Surat. There is no other friend as He is. We do not have to think whether if I approach a friend, he will talk to me, he will give me time. He is such a one who is everywhere. He is in my heart also, your heart also. Whenever we like, we can call Him and He is there to reply. Tushte cha tatra kimalabhyamanantadye kim tair guna vyatikaradihaye swasiddhaha dharmadaya kim agunena cha kankshitena saram jusham charanayo rupagayatam nah tushte cha tatra kimalabhyamanantadye. My dear friends, He is the infinite and primeval being. He is from the very, very beginning and infinite. If that Lord is pleased with a devotee, what is unattainable for that devotee? If the Lord is pleased, He will give everything to the devotee. But true devotees, they don't want anything. Neither they want dharma, artha, kama, nor do they want moksha. They say, we want nothing from you, O Lord. We want only devotion at your feet. And we want to serve you. And we want to experience the bliss that comes out of that service. We want only that. So he's telling his friends that this is what we should have. which is what we should practice. We must grow devotion for the Lord. And they were asking, how do you develop this devotion? They were hearing. The teachers are all away and the children are listening to him and they are asking, okay, you have told us all this, but please tell us also how the devotion can be developed. Then he says, if you practice these virtues, devotion can be developed. I think everyone has some relevance to these practices. This is the question of the fellow classmates. They are asking, "Oh Prahlada, tell us the practices by which one can grow one-pointed devotion to the Lord." And Prahlada is replying, "Guru sushrushaya bhaktya sarvalabdharpanena cha sangena sadhu bhaktanam ishvararadhanena cha." He says, right in the beginning, what does he say? Guru sushrushaya. You must go to a guru. It is not enough only listening, only worshipping, only singing, only dancing. It's not enough. You must go to a guru and humbly fall at his feet and say that I have been worshipping the Lord, but I want to grow in my devotion. I want my devotion to be deepened, to be strengthened, so that I can feel him always. Now, there are times when I forget him. There are times when there are adversities. I feel frightened. I feel as if scorched by the whole world. I don't see any direction which I should choose. I feel non-confident for everything. I feel fearful. Oh my Lord, my Guru, please show me the way. Tell me those practices and disciplines following which I will become fearless by attaining one-pointed devotion to the Lord. Now my devotion is only little bit, a little percentage. All my devotion is to the world, to my house, to my wife, to my children, to my property. How can I have full devotion? So he says, Guru sushrushaya bhaktya. With bhakti, do sevanam for the Guru. Go to the Guru, serve him. All will not be able to do physical service, but the best service is when the Guru, whatever he wants you to be, in whichever way he wants you to be molded, to the qualities that he wants you to imbibe, when you have imbibed that, that is the best service. So do that. Sarvalabdharpanena cha. Dedicate all that one possesses to the Lord. Don't think that this belongs to me and that belongs to me. I belong to the Lord and he gives me everything. It is his things that I am enjoying. Remember always. Remember always. We do not. There is a song written by Rabindranath Tagore which says, O Lord, if I have not had your vision in this life, let me feel the pain. Let me feel unhappy and let that pain always be there in my wakeful hours, in my dreams. In this world I have gathered so many things and my house has become full with so many material possessions. I have got so much name and fame, but let me remember that I have not got you, O Lord, and let me feel that because of that I am poor. Let me feel that pain. We do not feel the pain. So much of devotion is there when the Nama Sankirtana goes. But who is feeling that pain? Even after all these talks, when the talk is over, who discusses among themselves what they have heard? I think immediately the mind goes to many other unimportant, meaningless things. So he says, this mindness has to be renounced, has to be removed. Sangena sadhu bhaktanam ishvararadhanena cha. So, to be having these elevating thoughts about God, about bhakti, about not having mindness, about surrendering and dedicating everything to the Lord, you must have a good company, a holy company. You must have devotees as your friends, not the ones with whom you go to party. You want to read something, or you want to go to temple, or you want to come to a satsang, and you have friends who will tell you, no, why? You come, we'll go out. We'll go for a party, or eat out, or see that movie. No. He says, have such friends, have such associations which will allow you, which will make you or lead you to one-pointedness of devotion. Ishvararadhanena cha. Worship the Lord. Worship the Lord in everything. Shraddhaya tat kathayam cha kirtanair guna karmanam tat padam buruhadhyanat tallinge ksharhanadibhi. And have faith in the spiritual import of the accounts of his sportive manifestations. Whatever the Lord did, his glories, his sports, his exploits, have faith in that. Even only if we have faith, we'll be able to listen to that. And we'll go to such places where a Bhagavata is being read, or many other Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads are being read. Only then we will go there. So have faith, have a love to listen, and do kirtana. Whatever you have heard, do kirtana. Also think about him, meditate upon his feet, and absorb that bliss that comes out of it. In all the holy people, see him alone. In all images, see his beautiful smiling face. This is what he said. He is telling the classmates how to develop devotion. And seeing Lord Hari everywhere, worship all creatures. And if somebody practices all this, Prahlada says, oh my dear classmates, my little friends, you will have this. Vasudeve Bhagavati Yaya Samlabhate Ratihi. You will have so much of love for the Lord, the devotion which absolutely takes away all the desires from the mind, all the kalusha, the sin from the mind. It makes you pure and pure. You will have that. And when such a thing happens, what the man who has practiced these feels and experiences, nishamya karmani gunana tulyan Viryani leelatanubhih kritani yadati harshod pulakashrugadgadam protkantha udgayati rauti nrityati yadagrahgrastaiva kvachit hasatyakrandate dhyayati vandate janam muhushvasan Vakti Haresh Jagatpate Narayana Narayanetyatmamatir Gatatrapaha Nishamya Karmani Gunan Atulyan. When one hears his unparalleled excellences, his exploits that he has done in all his incarnations, divine incarnations, then yadati harshod pulakashru gadgadam. What happens is, there is ati harsha at times. One becomes so much delighted ecstatic. Pulakashru gadgadam. With delight, tears start rolling down the cheeks. And the swara, the kantha, becomes gadgada. It becomes choked with emotion and love. Protkantha udgayati rauti nrityati. He feels like loudly singing. Protkantha udgayati. Loudly he wants to sing his name. Rauti cries. Nrityati. He dances. Yadagrahagrastaiva kvachit. As if he becomes possessed. Hasatyakrandate. He laughs loudly. He cries. Dhyayati vandate janam. Sometimes he becomes quiet. He just sits quietly and gets absorbed into his own self, finding the Lord enshrined there. The Lord, his beautiful face, the beautiful face, the smiling face. He is in that lap of the Lord, who protects him, who gives shelter to him, who is the refuge, who is the Savior. And at times he salutes everybody. The Lord whom he has seen inside him, he finds that Lord everywhere in everybody, and he just cannot but salute and fall at the feet of everybody, thinking the Lord is there. The Lord is there. Mohushvasan Bhakti Hare Jagatpate. At that time, his breath becomes heavy. He starts calling out the Lord with various names. Hare, Jagatpate, Narayana, and so many others. That is how all this Vishnu Sahasranama was created. Sahasranama. When we love somebody, we call him with various names. And this Lord and this devotee, when he is ecstatic, when he has felt the Lord within himself, he calls out the Lord like this. And he doesn't have any shyness at that time. He doesn't feel what others will think about him. He just calls him. Tada. 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 That is when all these things happen at that time. Puman mukta samasta bandhanaha tadbhava bhavanukritashaya kritihi nirdagdha bijanushayo mahiyasa bhakti prayogena sametya dhokshajam. At that time, all the bondage is completely severed. He is liberated from all bondage. He becomes identified with the Lord in his body, mind, and intelligence in the ecstatic contemplation that he has. And as when a seed, when it is burnt off, it will not be sprouting again. Similarly, all his sins, all his evil tendencies, because of this power of devotion, Mahiyasa Bhakti Prayogena, the one-pointed devotion that he has attained, by the power of that, all his evil tendencies, all his sins get burnt off like anything, and he Sameta Dhokshajam, he attains the Lord. Adhokshajalambham iha shubhatmanah sharirinah samshriti chakrashatanam tad brahma nirvana sukham vidurbudhaha tato bhajadhvam hridaye hridishwaram tato bhajadhvam hridaye hridishwaram tato bhajadhvam hridaye hridishwaram tato bhajadhvam hridaye hridishwaram. And when he attains the Lord, he is in the embrace of the Lord. He has Vishnu Sparsha at that time. And all his sins have gone. That is called Brahma Nirvana Sukha. The Brahma Nirvana Sukha, which takes away all duality. It unites the devotee with the Lord who is in his heart. That is why, oh my dear classmates, let us worship him. He is the Hridayeshwara, and let us worship him in our own heart. He said, there is no difficulty. What is the difficulty to worship him? What is the difficulty to attain this one-pointed devotion? There is nothing. He is the soul of the soul. He is like the sky. He is pervading everywhere. And he is in our heart. We should worship him here, here, here. He is the genuine well-wisher. Rayah kalatram pashavah sutadayo griha mahi kunjarakosha bhutayah sarvetha kama kshanabhangurayushaha kurvanti mattasya kiyat priyam chalaha. He says, everything is transitory and momentary. The wealth, wife, cattle, sons, house, elephants, treasury, power, prestige, name, fame, possessions, enjoyments, kshanabhangurayushaha. It is absolutely transitory. What joy we can get from that. So what is the difficulty? Why should we go behind these when there is eternal happiness, eternal delight, eternal bliss by worshipping the Lord, by gaining one-pointed devotion at his feet? Tasmad adishtat shrutadushanam param bhattaikayesham bhajatatmalabdhaye. So, dear friends, let us worship him. He is the one who has no blemish, either seen or heard of. So let us worship him alone. The children, they used to listen to him. And they became so impressed and influenced, they started contemplating on Mahavishnu. When the teachers saw this, they got frightened. They went and told Hiranyakashipu that this is the situation. And Hiranyakashipu came and said, what is this? What is going on? And told Prahlada, I will kill you myself. You, the disobedient, you, the traitor of the family, how do you defy me? How do you become disobedient to me? Everybody is afraid of me and you are not. The boy, little boy, he was fearless. He was standing with folded hands, composed and humble. He was not getting annoyed. He was simply standing with folded hands. Hiranyakashipu again said that, where from do you get this power? Who is the source of power in you that you have the guts to defy me and disobey me? The little boy said, Father, not only me. Sri Hari is my power. And not only me. He is the strength of everybody. He is the source of strength of everybody in this world. Right from Brahma to the blade of grass, he is the master of everybody. He is your power too. And Father said that I am going to kill you. You fool, you idiot, what are you saying? I think your days are numbered and I am going to kill you. If you tell me even now, where is he? Where is he about whom you are speaking? Prahlada said, he is everywhere, my father. He is everywhere. Then father says, Hiranyakashipu says, if he is so, why is it that I am not seeing him in this pillar of my sabha, my assembly? Then Prahlada said, but I am seeing him there. Seeing that, Hiranyakashipu, when he heard this, he could not control him anymore. He was so angry. He took his sword and he said, I am going to kill you now. I am going to send you to Yamaloka, to the world, to the kingdom of death. And let me see whether your protector Sri Hari can protect you. Let me see. Seeing this, he jumped and struck that pillar where he said, is Hari there? And the sun had said, yes, he is there. When he struck that pillar, there was a huge sound. Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshvakhileshu chatmanah adrishyata adbhuta rupamudvahan stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam vyaptim cha bhuteshvakhileshu chatmanah adrishyatatyadbhuta rupamudvahan stambhe sabhayam na mrigam na manusham. And from that pillar emerged that fierce form Narasimha, who was neither an animal nor a man. Why did he emerge? Satyam vidhatum nijabhritya bhashitam. His small devotee, Prahlada, he had told, he is everywhere and he is in the pillar too. To make his word true, he came out from the pillar to show that he is infinite, he is everywhere. He is in this pillar, he is in this chair, he is in the camera, he is everywhere, in you, in the lights, in the pandal. Everywhere he is. When are we going to understand that? We read, we listen, we dance, we sing, but do we think that? All these stories, they are constantly giving us the message. He is the one and he is everywhere, everywhere, including your heart. We have to take that message, my dear devotees. So the man lion, Narasimha, emerged and there was a big fight between the two. Ultimately, Narasimha, who was fierce, huge like a demon, nobody had seen such a form anywhere, anytime. He grabbed Hiranyakashipu, he dragged him to the door sill and placing him on his thigh, he tore open his abdomen with his nails, took out the intestine and wore it as a necklace. Why? Hiranyakashipu had got a boon that he should not be killed either inside or outside, either in the sky or on the earth, in night or day, neither with any weapon. So the door sill was neither outside nor inside. It was dusk, so it was neither day nor night. He put him on his thigh, so it was not on the sky nor on the earth, and he tore open with his nails, which was not a weapon. So, see, evil people, Hiranyakashipu, he asked for a boon, thinking that there is no loophole in that. But Lord, his own ways, he killed Hiranyakashipu. And after killing, wearing his intestines as the necklace, he sat on the throne and he was heaving like anything. Everybody, all the devatas, Brahma himself, all were fearful to go and pacify him. So they told Prahlada, little boy, it is for you he has come. It is because of you he had taken this form. So you go and pacify him. Prahlada was overwhelmed to see his Lord. The Lord that he used to contemplate upon in his heart, now the Lord was there. So he went and he fell at the feet of Lord Narasimha. So when the Lord saw a small boy has fallen at his feet. Swapadamule patitam tamarbhakam vilokya deva kripaya pariplutaha utthapya tatshrishniya dadhat karambujam kalahi vitrastadhiyam kritabhayam. Seeing that a small boy has fallen at his feet, he was upsurged with tender feelings of love for the boy. So with his hand, he lifted up the boy, and his divine palms he kept on the boy's head. Which palms? Just think. Those palms, those hands, by which he takes away the fear from those who surrender at his feet, those who are afraid and surrender at his feet. He gives them abhaya. He gives them fearlessness. Those hands he placed. And Prahlada got filled with bliss. His whole body was filled with bliss. He was having premashru. Eyes were shedding. He was having horripilation all over the body. And like this, while he was having such emotion, divine emotions, in his heart he held the Lord's feet with devotion and surrender. We should also do like that. Virachita bhayam vrishnidhuryate charanamiyusham samsriter bhayat karasaroruham kantakamadam shirasidhehinaha shrikaragraham. Virachita bhayam vrishnidhuryate charanamiyusham samsriter bhayat karasaroruham kantakamadam shirasidhehinaha shrikaragraham. We all are afraid in this samsara. In this worldly ocean, we are scorched, we are afraid. However much we have everything in life, but still fear goes along with us. So, we pray to God, O Lord, give us abhaya, give us fearlessness, as Narasimha gave his divine hands, placed his divine hands on Prahlada's head, gave him abhaya, filled him with bliss. So too, you give us your holy hands like lotus. Place them on my head. Shirasidhehinaha. You place your holy hands on our head and give us abhaya. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam shrimadatatam bhuvi grinanti te bhurida janah. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham shravanamangalam shrimadatatam bhuvi grinanti te bhurida janah. All these Kathamrita we heard now about Prahlada, how to become a true devotee, what are the characteristics of a devotee, the reliance that we must have, the one-pointed devotion that we must have, the fearlessness that we must have in the face of all adversities, we learned. All these are his Kathamritas. These Kathamritas, they are cooling to the scorched life that we human beings have. These are the ones, these Kathamritas are sung by the Kavis, and those remove sin from everybody. Shravana Mangalam. When we hear, it immediately gives us auspiciousness, and they are the ones, the greatest giver, the greatest data, who sing the glory of the Lord. Many things, many people may give you costly items, but they are not the givers. If one sings the glory of the Lord and makes you hear it, he is the greatest giver in this world. Virachita bhayam vrishnidhuryate charanamiyusham samsriter bhayat karasaroruham kantakamadam shirasi dhehinaha shrikaragraham tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhididitam kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadaatatam Bhuvi Grinanti Te Bhurida Jana. Jai Guru. Dear devotees, I feel blessed to be able to talk about Prahlada. I feel blessed also because I heard about Prahlada's story in this great detail when my Guru, Swami Bhumananda Ji, was giving a lecture. I remember my horripilations, my tears, my feeling the presence of the Lord in my heart. And while I speak about Prahlada, I go back to that day and I fall at the Guru's feet and my Guru's feet, because he has made me capable to talk about Prahlada to so many of you. He has molded me, my Guru, given me that capability so that I could sing his name to all of you. And I don't know whether you all were filled with devotion or not. Every moment that I spoke, I was filled with devotion. Tears are coming to my eyes. I hope that I live up to this devotion. Jaya Shankha Gadadhara Neelakalevara Pita Patambara Dehi Padam. Jaya Shankha Gadadhara Neelakalevara Pita Patambara Dehi Padam. Jaya Bhakta Janashraya Mangalakarana Antima Bandhava Dehi Padam. Jaya Bhakta Janashraya Mangalakarana Antima Bandhava Dehi Padam.